discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, this video is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering you a free audiobook with a 30-day free trial membership. All you need to do is go to audibletrial.com/BG Unlocked. The link is in the description below, and now enjoy the video. Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and we are doing our top 5 worst games of 2019. Funny enough, no other, channel does worst.
Not that I've seen, right.
I actually took this from Angry Joe. He's a video game YouTuber. He always does best, disappointing, and worst. And I was like, yeah, worst games, those are worth talking about. One, that's fun to bitch about bad games. So I'm almost slightly more excited to talk about bad games and bitch than I am to talk about the best games, because everyone knows the best games.
Well, these also get the stirring of the
they
comments
do.
going.
Yeah, they do. Actually, you just don't understand the sheer it's great. So I live for it. Anyway, so as we have mentioned, 2019 has been a stellar year, but I mean, you still get the. I will say though, this one was kind of harder to make
the worst.
To make 5 worse, because it was so good of a year, but also I think as the years go on, I'm more selective of what I'm backing or buying.
Right,
so it's
so
I'm not playing as much of the shitty games. But man,
I did
the ones the ones on this list, they're pretty bad. I think the delineation we mentioned, because we've done our disappointing, is that I would play disappointing if someone's like, hey, do you want to play? And I'll be like, sure. If someone offered, I'd be like, no, no, and you're bad. You're a bad human for even offering this to someone. Why do you want to make someone so unhappy? What happened to you? So, I think we will have 0 crossovers.
I think 1.
I'll be very surprised, actually, with the 1.
I don't think you think I've played it. But we'll
that
see.
might be it, because with the disappointing, I didn't think you had played it. So, ooh, that makes me happy. So, why don't you start this one?
All right,
at number 5.
Well, this is the one I think is going to be
okay.
crossover. So maybe, my number 5 was a game I used to playtest for this company. I haven't for several years now. When I first saw this game at Origins, it looked really cool, looked really busy. I played it for the first time, and it's just overly done, and it's Bomba Nation. The Era of Frankenstein.
Okay.
I don't like this game at all. It just doesn't work. It's it's almost like they kept adding stuff, and and they added too much, and there's too much crap to do. I mean, and then and it's gross, which is that isn't the bad part. I mean, I don't mind that, but I'm never gonna play it with half the people I play with, because they don't like that kind of stuff.
Right.
When you're freezing you're keeping body parts cold.
Parts. There's some weird story element to it that doesn't even make. It's because the whole theme of it is you're making a bride for Frankenstein.
Right.
And it's at the end of the game, you're like, all right, well, I got the arms, so I guess she can give you a handy. I didn't get anything. She's not alive, and he's just like, you win. It's yeah, I didn't know you had played that game. I'm surprised you did.
It was about a month or so ago.
Okay.
I got a lot of these pulled when I was at my friend's house.
Gotcha. I remember.
He had a lot of these, so I went and did these because
gotcha.
He's like, I want to play that, and that, and it was just a horrible day because we played Tapestry. We played that.
Abomination. You're man, I'm depressed now.
But no, it's just I have no desire.
They're weird. It's a Plathead game too.
And I have my theories on that. I think they've changed ever since they sold to Z-Man, and then Z-Man sold to Asmodee. Because they did that after Mice and Mystics and Tailfeathers, and then they sold out. And
now it's basically, if it's not a storybook game, then it's just not.
Yeah, they've changed. Because when I was with them, Summer Wars, and it was, and they were really fan focused. You don't see the stuff anymore.
No, because they released...
They used to have a podcast that went... I don't even know if the podcast still goes anymore, but...
I don't know, but I know they had... The Bomba Nation, they did Comanauts, they did Stuffed Fables, and then the Aftermath. Like, those are essentially all three the same type of game. It's that sort
they
of...
aren't releasing much like they used to release.
No.
The Dungeon Run 2 was supposed to be out a long time ago.
They,
Of course, I guess stuff actually fell off with Seafall. That was the last one they released before they sold.
Yeah, that one was gross. That one was really fucking bad. But yeah, because I went and talked to them at Gen Con this year, asking them, and they're like, no, it's not coming out here, and it was expected to. And I was like, are you guys releasing anything? Yeah, so I mean, it's a real shame because Plaid Hat was, well, now that I think about it, yeah. Well, they also did Guardians, and that one died, and it's like,
yeah,
that was their best. Yeah, that bumps. They also did Samurai Starship, which I think most people liked. I never got a chance to play it
either. But this one, just for the theme alone, not being able to get it played with people, and then when I did play it, it was just boring.
Yeah.
Like I have no desire to ever touch this game again.
Yeah.
Because
I
I
don't blame you. My number 5 is actually one of those games that it like just peaked into worst. But it probably wouldn't make disappointing, but it's a game called Space Gate Odyssey, which is, there you go. Like no one knows what this game is, but kind of had an inkling of some good ideas where it's a worker placement game, and you were essentially kind of doing a couple things. You were setting tiles for your space gate, which allowed you to kind of like move people and fill up an area to put them onto a planet. It was kind of like a mini worker placement area control, where each planet had kind of its its own ways of scoring points. This game is overly long and overly boring, that it's like literally you're getting tiles that do nothing. Like, they're just kind of like all relatively the same, and it's like, well, this one can hold a little bit more people. And you're filling up your own thing, and you can actually like lock yourself out. Like, you could, if you're not right, like, that's the thing, is like it looks like it'd be pretty neat, but like overall the gameplay is just so not really abstract, but just so simple, that the fact that whenever you're laying your tiles and it's like, oh, like if you make one mistake you can just totally be screwed, and it's like, okay, well, that's fun, I guess I'll watch everyone else play and I'll just live with, like, yeah, I understand it's a live with your mistake kind of thing, but in a game that's already not that great, and you're kind of like, there's also these 5 different colors in different areas of like where you're placing like robots that like, oh, if one person goes here, then everyone there kind of can do the action, which is okay. Like, everything, we were just like sitting there like kind of watching the clock and just like checking the box for the time, and it's like, man, this says it's 60 minutes. What what are we doing wrong? It just, and it's number 5 because it's not, I mean, I think it's one of the worst games to come out of the year. But it's like, I was like, okay, selling this immediately because I will never want this to hit the table again. Like, the way you scored points, that was also extremely boring because it's like, okay, well, I'll set these 5 there and alright, guess I'll do that all over again and I'll do this for an hour and a half. It's like, no thank you. So, Space Gate Odyssey is my number 5.
Alright. My number 4 is a game created by a board game table company.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of popular. I have played it 3 or 4 times and won't ever touch it again. It's called On Tour. Have you played it?
No, but everyone liked it. It was a rolling right.
Yeah, it. All right, here's how it goes. You're gonna have this little. It's a dry erase. It's like a map of the U.S., right? Has all these circles and lines going everywhere. And you have a dry erase marker. It's very nicely produced, and all that stuff. There'll be cards. You'll have cards that'll show different regions out on the deal, and then there's these 2 oversized D10s.
Yep.
You roll them. Let's say you get a 3 and a 7. So you either have to write a 37 or a 73 in one of the circles on the map anywhere. Okay. If you happen to put it in one of the regions that they have, then you get to circle it and it counts as different stuff. So skip ahead to the end of the game.
Yep.
And you win by how the longest route.
Yep.
Of continuous
ascending
numbers.
Oh, okay.
Starting from lowest to highest.
Yep.
It's just fucked. I mean, because you're rolling, because if you roll doubles,
Yep.
then,
yeah.
and all that stuff. I can't remember what the doubles rule was. If you roll doubles, there was something about double. I can't remember what that was. But anyway, you're rolling and you're just like you just close yourself off. I mean, you have to be incredibly lucky because you're trying to put high numbers over here, but then you really can't.
Yeah.
Actually, what it is you have to. That's what it is. These areas, you have to put them in one of those areas.
Yep.
That's what it is. So, if you're trying to keep all your 80s and 90s and stuff up in the Northwest, and you roll there's like a 16 or a 61, and all that's left out, is Northwest, you're gonna have to put it up.
Gotcha.
Here, and stuff, and it's just
it sounds like it's basically just an absolutely random game.
It's very random, like completely, and that's all the game is. It's like I think it's 10 rounds. You just roll. No, it's there's not a count of rounds. You just go until all the circles are filled.
Yeah.
So you just roll.
All right.
37 or 73, 64, 46. And you just do that, and then you just draw lines and see who has the longest route.
Huh. Yeah, because I remember seeing that one.
It's popular.
Yeah.
But
I'm not the biggest fan of roll and write games either. Like, I think the first one, and I think the only one I've played, is the Imperial Settlers roll and write. And
the one you played.
And Roll Through the Ages. Yeah, sorry. So, I mean, they were okay, but at least in those games, you have some control over what you're doing. It sounds like on tour, you're just like, oh yeah, 77. All right, got it. Yeah, it doesn't sound that fun.
I think it's popular. I hope I'm not pissing, but I think it's popular for people that like in Phase 10 and stuff like that.
You don't have really much to think about. That's so funny. Okay. My number 4 is a game that, that I was initially going to do a run through for, and then I hated it so much that I just deleted it. I was like, I don't even want to edit that. And it's called Until Daylight. So Until Daylight is kind of a real-time zombie survival thing where you have basically a real-time aspect of where basically all you're kind of doing is you're just like drawing cards from a deck. And it's like, oh, okay, I got nails. And then it just goes in turn order, and everyone's doing that. And then you can also, trade cards with someone, and then you can build, traps or barriers or something like that. And then you're trying to get ammo. And then the timer runs out. Then you go to the time portion where it's like, I was the last one to draw, so now they're all coming to me. And it's, it's the number of the round plus the number of players. So it's like, okay, so four that were coming to me. And it's like, okay, so I'm getting 4 of these generic-ass fucking zombies that are here, plus some survivors or raiders who steal stuff from me.
Right.
And it's like, all right, I guess you can do, one action. So it's like, I guess I'll shoot them, but, if you have a weapon and ammo, you're limited on how many dice you can roll. So based off basically the dice there, it's like, okay, well, so some of these fucking creatures have... oh, well, a body hit kills him, but oh, no, only a headshot. And you're like,
right.
All right, and you have to go in fucking order. So it's like, okay, well, I didn't get a headshot, and unfortunately a big boss or big zombie is at the front. Well, I didn't get a headshot, so I can't kill it. All right, guess I can't kill any of them.
Yeah.
And then other people can be like, okay, I'll try to help you, and they can draw some of them to them, and then you take damage based off who's left over. And... Your point of the game is you're trying to find survivors through this deck and keep them alive. You just need one.
Mm-hmm.
The game is so actively against that by the time we even got to the end of the game, because survivors can just die, they just get removed, and it's like, okay, well, there's 5 in the whole deck, so once they died, it was like, well, we can't win. And if not only for that shitty ass gameplay, the game lasts 10 rounds. And you think real time. No, the game is so long and awfully made that it's so piss poor and I bought it at Gen Con on a whim, and I hated everything about this. Like, the real time was kind of exciting at first, but I'm like, guys, there's 10 rounds of this. Like, there's no quicker way to... It's not like, oh, buy 10 rounds if you have one. No, it's you have to survive 10 nights or 10 hours or whatever it fucking is until daylight. So bad! This game is so bad. I hate it. So that's my number 4, Until Daylight.
All right, my number 3 is one that I tried a little bit of the first box. Hated it, so sold all the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
I got them at Origins on their release day, and that was the Undo series.
Oh.
There's a lot of those games, you know. I mean, this one tries to be unique.
This one is different than the exits or
right.
or
And
unlocks.
there's exit, unlock all those stuff. Yeah, I see you have them over there. I was expecting the way that they explained it to me when they were trying to sell it to me, which I know I got the salesman's pitch.
Yeah, you did, because I did too.
Right, was all that stuff, and then they had a coupon in the Origins book. You know, it's like you buy
3, you get one.
The third one.
It's like some half-assed,
right,
skimpy pack.
So I was like, sure, I'll buy it. You know, it's only like $38 to all 3 or whatever, and so, but then there's there's no art at all. They're little cards, and it's just cards with print. The entire thing.
Yeah.
At least, you know, when you're doing exit and unlock, they try to put some semblance of theme in there a little bit. It's something you're
The unlock games do a pretty good job.
Right,
too.
right. And I know this is different because you're going back in time, and you know, you're time detectives or whatever the hell you are. But I couldn't do it. I didn't even finish the first one because I'm just sitting there. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna read this card. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, and I gotta read this card.
So I know Tom Vassell hated them.
Right.
It's on your worst list, and like, I'm not even gonna argue. I completely understand. I think if you compare them to the exits or the unlocks, yeah, they're hot garbage. But I don't. I think that's what helps me. Mm-hmm. They're not the best. They're not even close to being as good. I mean, and there's some shitty unlock ones and there's some shitty exit ones. Right. But these are all kind of like subpar at best. But yeah, it's kind of like, I wouldn't say neat, but you're just like, okay, let's go back to this time, and then you just get a little snippet of like, he cried at night, and you're like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, and then you're like, okay, so you try to figure out why he would lead himself to kill himself, or because you're trying to stop a suicide,
right? And
it's okay. Like,
well, I mean, taking
because I had no expectation.
Taking our deal about the disappointing we would play in that. I mean, like Exit and Unlock, I've played crappy versions of that, but I wanted to try the other ones. Like this one, I don't want to touch the other boxes.
Yeah, I don't blame you
because of the layout and stuff. It's not. You know,
there's no art. You're right.
So
there's art on the box.
I wish I could undo my transaction, go back in time and get my money back.
Yeah, man, Pegasus Spiel. I'm like, I should just go back to Gen Con and be like, here you go. I don't want these.
I'm the time traveler from the 2018 Origins.
I'm here to stop you from making bad games.
I'm here to get my money back for these games
from a year ago. You think they do it? You think they'd be like, that's clever? Like, yeah, I have 2 of them over there. I've done the one and then the stupid free one. And like Kat was like, oh, because Kat kind of likes them, like, because they're not hard in any way. And like, she's like, do you want to play one? I'm like, no. Like, I really don't. We kind of need to. But yeah, that's fair. That's a fair game. My number 3 is Hot Topic, the board game. So Long My World. It's just this edgy fucking goth.
Hot Topic?
Like no. It's called So Long My World. But it's like, I imagine it's a game that...
I said, they're like, Hot Topic has a board game?
No, but you would expect it to be like this emo, like depressed... Yeah. Like, you would... Okay, we're going to Hot Topic. This is what some 13-year-old, you know, edgy wrote in her diary, some theme. Got it off Kickstarter. And because it was supposed to be like for adults. Because it's about humanity is dying, and there's nothing you can do about it. And like, and it's in the way it was explained is you're like trying to cope with that, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that could be like a pretty cool theme. Except no, the writing, like I mentioned, is like some from edgy, Days of Our Lives soap opera, like just trash, like, ooh, woe is me, and you're not really involved in any way. Like, you kind of have some decisions to make, and it's just so, I think it's piss poor, like it's just poorly done. So you're like, well, I guess I'll go to this location. I guess I'll go to the chapel and I'll pray and I'll get this token that lets me do this. It's just like it's an abstract game for the most part.
Right.
It's centered around this theme. But what makes this even worse, besides the shitty writing, is that it's not even about humanity. Like, it's not set in realism. It has so much inkling of that it's a simulation. So it's like, oh, okay, you're getting like clips of like, programming going around. And it's like, so you did a computer thing. So no, you're not actually having to come to the grips with mortality. It's a fucking computer simulation. So that just threw even any inkling of interest out the window. It's like you couldn't do it. You couldn't just make it about like really like, because that is a dark theme, but it wasn't really for adults. It was so bad. I hated everything about this game. Sold it immediately. Actually, I have the art book still. Surprisingly, the art of So Long My World, which is kind of like, I mean, like this is just something. I mean, it was pretty decent, like black and white. I don't know what I'm showing. They can't see it from here, but like like these were some of like because they were like based off tarot cards.
Right.
And I mean, it was okay. Like, ooh, nudity. But, like, fucking, like, I'm choking myself because I'm sad. It's just...
Choking myself because I'm playing this game.
Like, we're going to disappear and nobody will remember us. Then what was the point of our existence? Sure, but it's a simulation because later on in this art book, you're getting computer graphic, or not graphics, you're getting, like coding, like, right there. And it's like... So that it's not that the world's ending, it's that some guy just realized he wanted to delete his hard drive because of all of his porn. And it's, God. So bad game. So Long My World.
Alright. Mine is a Target exclusive.
Okay.
Game.
Oh, okay.
Kenny G, Keepin' It Saxy.
Oh. Okay, no, I was thinking of a different game.
Kenny G, Keeping It Saxy.
Why would you play this?
You have to
this
know. Was the most uneventful game night because this was this and the next one, along with Tapestry, along with the one I just said a second ago, Abomination. Yeah. We did all this stuff there.
Damn,
it was like the worst. I'll never go to his house again.
Unfriended him. You're like, don't talk to me.
So Kenny G, Keeping It Saxy. It's a card game, and your whole goal of the game is to keep Kenny G saxy. So like stuff happens. You gotta you need to keep his hair nice. So you gotta play cards to keep his hair nice and saxy. You gotta keep it. It's incredibly stupid. I phased out about 5 minutes into the game and started just throwing a card out.
Like me with Eggs and Empires, fuck it.
Because I was just like, I don't give a shit if Kenny G is sexy or not. Why are we playing this game?
Was he one of the ones that wanted to play it?
Kenny G?
He was there. So, come on, guys, it's really good. No, your friend.
It was Gil. Yeah.
It's just like...
He had gotten it. And
I'd be like, dude, play it with someone else, man. You can tell. I remember seeing that at Gen Con, and I was like, no way.
Did you get to see Kenny G sitting there playing this? Because he was there.
Was he there?
Yeah, he was. There was a picture of him at Gen Con holding this game, and
he
was autographing copies.
Well, I mean, that would have been cool. I would have met Kenny G. Be like, hey, what's up, man? Your hair kind of looks like shit. Let's play the game to make it better.
Let me throw a card at it. See what pictures is.
That's so bad.
I'm not even going to explain. You're pretty much events happen throughout the day. From the time he wakes up to the time he goes to bed, and you're doing stuff, playing cards to keep him sexy. I mean, that's all there is to it. It's completely stupid. burn your copies if you have it. Please.
That's so bad. That is so bad. I don't even. Is Kenny? That's so weird. It's when Kenny G's not even relevant anymore. Like, when was he even popular? Like,
well,
30
you gotta
years
realize
ago?
it's the same target. It's the same company that did this game that did the.
The Bob Ross.
Keep it classy with Bob. Yeah, or the Bob Ross.
Yeah.
Deal. I mean, it's.
All right.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's so funny. My number 2. See, I actually picked games though. That one is.
I'm just picking games I played.
Okay. So
this last one.
My number 2 was a Kickstarter that sounded, pretty decent on paper with like the theme, and essentially one of the reasons why it's the worst game is because their deluxe edition was actually a downgrade of like their actual edition, and it's Moonshiners of the Apocalypse. So
their deluxe was a downgrade?
Yes, like literally. So the pictures on their case, so many people are pissed about this game because they like all the wooden components. It's like, just give me. I'd rather take cardboard. Like, they look nothing like their pictures on their Kickstarter. Half of the game is just poorly made. They had an event deck, but explained nowhere in the rules of what to do with it. So it's just there. I paid $10 extra for a comic book that was like 3 panels, and and I'm like, and on top of that, the game is just so boring. So the theme is that you are some type of moonshiners in this backwater, the shanty town, whatever, and you're trying to get enough gold to be able to buy the hot air balloon and escape the drunks. You don't fight anyone, you drink them under the table, and so basically people have, like, you roll dice, and if you're fighting them, then they get the red icons, and then you get green icons, and then if you happen to beat them, because you can have alcohol cards that boost your ability, and it's like, okay, well, I beat you. Well, not only are the fucking, the way that they come out is it's tile, so based off tiles, and all the tiles is 1 through 20. You roll a d20. Okay, well, this person's coming out. Most of the game is other people watching one person, because they can't go in the same spot. So it's like, okay, 18. All right, well, there's already someone in 18. All right, 16. Nope. Like, you're rolling a d20, and eventually, by the time, because more and more come out as the game goes on, that I was sitting there like, I'm not rolling this. I'm just going to put them out. Like, it's so dumb. And the resource management of this game is because there's like a tier. It's like, okay, so 4 scrap equals 1 whatever. 1, corn. 3 corn is a metal, and 2 metal is a gold, and stuff like that. But you can freely trade resources. So it's like, okay, well, I'm going to trade. So you get these dumbass cards that are worth scrap. That it's like, I mean, one really funny thing was, like, the Bible was worth 0. So I was like, because it's the apocalypse. But, like, jewelry, it was all just trash. So apparently we have time to pick up trash and turn it in freely, but it had to be an action. So you had to go to a mill and just freely trade. But at the end of the game, you freely trade all the resources anyway into gold. So it's like, why the fuck would I ever go in the game to make it gold? There's no point.
Right.
And so it was poorly made, poorly handled. The game was incredibly long, incredibly boring. You did like 0 interaction with other players, so you're just kind of laying tiles for no reason. And to make matters worse, the company mentioned that, hey, we're not basically going to give you the deluxe we promised because we don't have the money to do it. And it's a husband and wife company, and it's like, you don't get to you don't get to be like, oh, we're going to be a company and make our own game. Oh, but woe is me, and like, no, take pity on us. It's just us two. It's like, then you don't get to make a game. So this was so badly done that I don't even want the other game I backed on Kickstarter, Trouble in Templetown, which will be coming out probably next year. It's probably going to be just as bad.
Is it same company?
Same company, yeah.
Oh.
So I'm like, well, shit. Like, Moonshiners had a decent theme. It was, and the writing. Like, they tried to make it like, Alabama backwater, like, dumb kind of hicky, like, writing. But I think it was really, I think it was just bad writing. Like mispronunciations, just punctuation in awful spots. It was so bad.
Is it too late to ask for a refund on your Kickstarter pledge for that other one?
For Trouble in Temple Down, it might be because take pity on them. It's just them two, so they can't issue refunds. So, I mean, hell, I'll have a worse game for 2020.
Yeah, that's true.
So, Moonshiners of the Apocalypse is my number 2.
All right, my number 1.
I know what your number 1 is, and I think that's not a fair number 1.
Well, I'll explain.
Okay, it's Pandemic Rapid Response.
Yes,
okay,
is.
so
and I am bringing my bias into this.
Okay,
that's
here's
why.
the thing. So I completely disagree. Because you picked the number 1 for a game that you already knew you wouldn't like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, but
like that's not fair for me. Like this is the worst game.
You take a theme, but I like Pandemic: The Cure, right?
But you hate every other iteration.
This is a dice version of Pandemic.
Yeah, but it's real time.
I know.
And you also hate real time.
That's the
so you're
part
taking two bias. You're like, I hate Pandemic and I hate real time, so therefore this is a bad game. This is not a bad game.
Yeah, I mean that's it. I mean, Pandemic. What could you do to make Pandemic worse? Is add real time.
Like
that's it's. I know it's a different designer.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. Like, I'll agree with you that this is not Pandemic in any way. Like, it's just it has the Pandemic cities on there, but I think that a lot of people won't like this because it just. I mean, that's the thing. That was the selling point.
Right.
Was hey Pandemic? It's like no, just call it Rapid Response.
Yeah, they started doing that with. There's that, and then was there another one?
Fall of Rome came out last year. Rising.
They did another one, but it wasn't. It was like Contagion. It was a different kind of.
I know what you're talking about.
A couple years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I went in with the Pandemic bias, but I also, like I said, I like The Cure because it was a dice game.
Yeah.
I knew. I've kind of turned a little bit of a corner on real-time games, a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, like if it's not the entire game. So I wasn't sure what to expect with this one.
Yeah, it's the entire game.
It's
very hectic.
So it just didn't.
Yeah,
didn't go.
In fact, because I think I told you, I'm like, oh hey, because joking, I texted you, I was like, hey, they're making a real time Pandemic, and because I knew you wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
So taking if you were to take your bias of Pandemic, and you say you're taking the turn, so what made you not like this game?
The real time.
Okay.
And still the cooperative real time is almost even worse.
See, I thought it worked really well. I thought this game made people be aware and actually watch what others are doing more so than like, okay, I'm just going to do everything on my turn. I liked it a lot because other people had to kind of like help you actually manage your dice and use your actions and move around the airplane to be able to deliver the supplies. It's not my favorite Pandemic by any means.
Yeah.
If I had to rate them all, I think anything's better than Rising Tide. But Fall of Rome's better, Iberia's way better, Cthulhu's better. I thought it was a good real-time iteration of Pandemic, I guess, for as much as it could have been.
The only Pandemics I've played were the original, and with the first expansion, The Cure.
You didn't do Legacy, did you?
No.
I didn't think so.
Well, actually, no. We did the first 3 months of Legacy, Season 1, and then stopped.
Yeah.
But then, that's really it. I
So
didn't play any
I'm
other
just going to go on record.
iterations,
I think that this is an unfair pick because that's like if I was to go back to, I don't remember the year, but it's like, oh yeah, Kemet's the worst game that year. Well, I already know I don't like it, so.
Well, but that would be true. But the only other dice version of Pandemic is in my top 100.
Sure.
So I mean,
but it's not real time.
Well, I know, and that was the thing. So I was.
Now, what is actually really bad about Rapid Response is that stand timer. There's so much. You're so fast paced in this game that. Like half the time, I'm like, "Oh, that probably went out a long time ago."
Like an app, or you use it for your phone, or something that has a sound.
I would highly recommend that you use like I can't remember. I think it's a 30 second timer, 30-second 1 minute timer. Definitely use your phone. That stand timer is actually a pretty archaic way of doing it.
But it makes the sound so you know it's happening.
Yeah, so you know it's over. But because other time you're so so involved in which dice. Yeah. So, all right. Disagree with that one, but because I don't even think it's the best game of 2019. I just hate that you picked it. So my number one is our crossover.
It's a abomination.
Yeah, yeah, and boy is this game an abomination. Like everything you said. Here's the thing about this game. Like, it's so bad that they had to release a variant that made the game shorter and less random. Because did you finish Abomination?
The game?
Yeah.
It took freaking forever.
Yes, it's like 2.5, 3 hours long of utter trash.
Least, yeah.
It would have been probably would have been number 2 had it not been 2 hours long. Mm-hmm. It's not a terrible worker placement game. Like, I kind of think the theme is unique. That's one of the things I got it. I kind of like that. But then whenever you play it, you're just like, the whole point, like I mentioned, is you're building a wife for Frankenstein. It's a competition, like, between, like, doctors and all that. And it's like, the end of the game is so based off randomness and luck that it's like, because you have to get, like, Leyden jars to be able to roll dice, and to shock the body parts awake. Well, if you happen to not roll well, okay, sucks to suck. You didn't turn them alive. You actually damaged them. I won that the game I played just because the other, like, everyone did. Kat, my friend Josh, they did better than me. I was shit in the bed. Mm-hmm. I won because they rolled bad. Yep. That was it. And I'm like, imagine sitting there and playing 2 hours of a game, all for it to come down on dice. Yep. Now, I did an interesting topic, like, kind of like my vlog things that I do every now and then, over the Igor variant. Because I refuse to play it, because I never will pay for this game again. But I wanted to commemorate them for actually listening to the fans and making a free variant. Because video games, like, they'll sell that shit, and so that is really good. The length and the randomness of the dice were the two biggest things that make this game god awful. Well, they did address it. I haven't played it. But the fact that they had to do that instead of already doing that shows that it was already a broken game. Then you come to the abilities of the players, and one of them, he's some psychopath, so he cannot lose. His heart, like his popularity, or his whatever it's called, can't change. So, and he, like, a person commented, they're like, yeah, he'll miss out on 20 points if he gets it up. I'm like, that is so negligible, because every action in this game causes you to lose. Not every, but most of them. Going and killing dogs, going and, getting these hiring people causes you to lose hearts. Right. He doesn't have to worry about that. So he's just like, yeah, I'll do whatever I want. I'm going to go here. I'm going to slaughter these babies to get this is like...
Yeah, somebody was that guy.
And he's so busted. Like... I was so mad the entire game because I'm like, Kat and I have to go to the church and to be like, okay, I'll get this, that'll give me some hearts. It's like, oh, well, can't hire that guy because he'll cause me to lose, and I'll get negative points if you go in the other side. Right. So it's more like, yeah, he's not going to get the 20, but what's even more important is he's not going to get the negative points. He can max out on everything else. He doesn't have another track that he has to worry about. So not only was it broken for that, the game was extremely long. And the fact that because it's long, it relies on dice. This game was utter trash. Like, I think, like, and Kat has played some games with me over the years that she absolutely hated. I think this is probably her number one. She hated this game. And whenever I mentioned the Igor variant, she's like, great, you can play it by yourself. Like, and I won't. I refuse. This is, like, and also the fact that Plaid had made it. And usually they have a higher reputation. Like, hell, even though they're doing kind of the same game over and over with Comanauts and stuff, at least those are fun, story-driven games. This one, and the story was fucking weird. Like, yes. And like, what even made this worse, which now has been fixed with the variant that you have to still print off, but, like, the way the sea captain, like, you couldn't, because there were other cards that you can get that can make him move forward, but it's like, if he's at number 7, you can't do it. I'm like, what the fuck is this game? Like, you can't shorten it after a certain period of time after you've been there for 6 hours. Right. God, it was so bad. Whew. So yeah, there's our one crossover. I didn't know you had played it, so that's why I assumed it was 0. But yeah, these are our top 5 worst games of 2019. We only do 5 because I really don't want to talk about 10. Yeah, and 5 is a good number. So clearly it's subjective, but it is what it is. Everyone has their own taste, but otherwise 2019 was a fantastic year. Like 5 of those games, and then yeah, so let us know what you think are the worst games of 2019 in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this, and if you like this video, then click the subscribe button below to enjoy any video that I put out. And right next to that subscribe button is a little bell. Click that so you get notified of whenever I actually upload these videos. If you want to support the channel, you can definitely visit my Patreon page. The link is in the description below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.